Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Wisconsin MMA Today. I'm Scott Jaffe, and I'm joined by Wisconsin Combat Sports' Paul Flatton and Gracie Baja's Kelly and Dave Rosenmerkel. Enjoy the show.
Begin. Begin.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Duke Rufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Duke Rufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Visit us at tiffinmats.com.
But remember, I'm always going to talk about our parables. You guys remember the story of the two wolves? Yeah. Okay, what's the first wolf? Anybody?
The good.
Tell me about the first wolf.
The first wolf is strong, disciplined, and knows what he's doing.
Okay, who knows anything about the second wolf? Yes, Jake.
He's like the bad wolf, and he's like the hateness inside of you.
Hate, insecurity, jealousy, envy, things like that. The first wolf is confidence, happiness, security, love, things along those lines. Correct. Now, these two wolves battle all the time. Can someone tell me who wins? Yes, Jake.
The good wolf.
Why?
Because he's confident and he knows what he's doing.
You're close. Why, Janae?
Well, I was going to say whichever wolf that you feed.
Whichever wolf you feed. If you walk around feeling insecure, not so confident, if you're jealous or you're full of anger and things of that nature, that is the wolf that you feed, and that is the wolf that will win. If you are confident, if you are happy, if you have gratitude, if you're thankful, the first wolf is going to be the one that wins.
I got started in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in, gosh, it would have been November of 2001, right after 9/11. I was in the Army at the time. I was in 3rd Infantry Division down in Fort Stewart, Georgia. And a friend of mine had been talking about this Gracie Jiu-Jitsu thing. And as a soldier, you know, you always like to think that you're a tough guy, you know, that, oh, you know, I can handle anything. I'm military trained. And, you know, when you're young, you have that ego about you as well. So he brought me to this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club that was ran by a blue belt, because black belts were kind of like a mythical thing. They weren't around as much as they are now. And so I got into this gym, and this little guy, a good friend of mine named Trent Sykes now, And he got a hold of me and he just started tying me up in pretzels, and he was literally 50, 60 pounds lighter than I was. And I was just so amazed and taken aback that how this little guy, this person that I should physically dominate or even just destroy on the ground, could just handle me and just dictate wherever I was going to go. He could manipulate and make me scream like a little girl.
I started jiu-jitsu when I met Dave. In about 2007, we started rolling at home, started teaching me a move here or a move there, and his passion for it just kind of kept growing, and I had to keep up with him. And as his passion continued to grow, we started a little studio in downtown Kenosha, and it just kept growing.
Master Carlos Gracie, Carlinos, had called Brian Davis with Flavio Almeida and said that it was now time for me to get my black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, when I started out as a white belt, I remember the first black belt I ever met was Pedro Sauer. And seriously, next to maybe Jesus Christ, it's just kind of like this thing. The first time you meet a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and you are in awe of them, you are just, it is such to be revered. And you know, your whole Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu career that you go through, it's kind of like, I'll never reach this pinnacle. I'll never get to this point, you know, this zenith.
My grandmother actually inspired me. She was one of the first female black belts in the U.S. I think my grandmother being a part of the sport kind of like made me have an act for it a little bit, because I recognized just a few of the techniques she taught me when I was a kid, but like she's gotten interviews left and right. She was on the Regis show. She threw Regis around, but you know, I would kind of like emulate what she did, and I hope that I make her proud. My grandmother's name was Helen Paradise. She actually just started, she did jiu-jitsu, she did like 5 different martial arts, I believe, and she started just for fitness, just to get in shape, and she ended up falling in love, kind of like I did. And I mean, I was younger when she was, you know, trying to teach me all these throws, and she would say, come after me with this knife, and I would, and I'd end up on the ground. But I was also like into soccer, so I was like, okay, Nana, yeah, whatever. But then she's no longer with us, and again, I kind of wish I appreciated that when I was younger. And so like I got into it after she had died, and I would give anything to be able to just shoot the breeze with her and talk to her about self-defense. I have a lot of favorite aspects of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but mostly the self-defense, just having that security and knowing that if a man or a bigger, stronger person were to push me down and I'm on the ground, that I know what to do, and that's my bread and butter. That's my comfort zone, is being on the ground. So besides that, just the whole family aspect, just that every guy that I roll with, everyone on these mats, they're like my brothers, and I feel like I have this second just huge family that they love me and I love them, and it's just, I mean, I come here every day, and it's just, it's more than jiu-jitsu. I've learned like just the lifestyle of it, you know, just I'm calmer, I don't get angry as fast, you know, I've changed a lot since I come here, and I like that.
I started training about 2 years ago. I like Professor and Coach Kelly and Megan and all the coaches, because to me they're like a family. They really help support me, and if anything's wrong, they actually take time out of their schedule and help me. As a martial artist, I believe that you don't have to show it off, and you can just be humble. There's no need to throw out everything you are, and in jiu-jitsu class, he teaches you moral lessons, and you just learn.
I've been doing this for about 1.5 years. My brother did like karate and stuff, and he was a wrestler, so I came here to start training for wrestling and all my other sports. Like in wrestling, we have to do takedowns and stuff. I learned all that here in different ways to do them. I used to be the quiet kid in the corner. Now I'm always with other friends and talking to new people and meeting new people.
I think it just gives a child more self-confidence, so they're a little bit more confident with their actions and how they are and how they approach people.
I kind of got interested in this only because my kids were having problems at school, and this kind of helped them, you know, bring up their confidence, and actually brought up their grades a little bit, and they're doing good in school now.
Sometimes I get frustrated, but now I don't. I concentrate, I do my best, and I don't rush. And I think I'm being a better student because like our kids always talk, and I'm like the only one that's like silent, so everyone, you learn a lot of things in jiu-jitsu.
This really trains your mind, too. It trains you to think differently about things, and it teaches you to kind of diffuse things as they happen and to not let things escalate.
You you got to believe in your training. So I mean, I guess when you know you're putting in that hard work and you see that it pays off and you can carry that with you, you don't worry about things and situations. You learn to control a lot of it. You learn to control yourself in situations, and you think about it.
I like CrossFit and Jiu-Jitsu.
In the service, it really exposes you to a lot of different types of people. And it exposes you to them in the best of circumstances, in the worst of circumstances. And whether you're a coach in a competitive atmosphere or in a friendly atmosphere, you're kind of like a chemist. You're going to have to figure out what ingredients or what things you need to put together to motivate people to be the best that they can be. You know, and that's what I think the military prepared me for. It allowed me to be comfortable in front of groups of people and to try and lead a group to a common goal or achievement, and to try and promote a sense of community within our gym. And I got that through the military, you know, so that's why we try, and everybody has tried the same gis, you know, we try and come together and be as similar as possible, and we get to work together. So being in the military helped engineer this process for me in mentoring and guiding people to help them achieve their goals.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Rufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Duke Rufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highland 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Visit us at TiffinMats.com.
You're watching Scott Jaffe here, along with Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Flatten on Wisconsin MMA Today. There's a lot riding on the line in this next bout, Paul. Why don't you tell the viewers what they're going to see?
The middleweight title is up for grabs as Bobby Bernicky from Waukesha MMA meets Jeff Behnke out of Metz's Combat Club.
Coming up next. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today with Scott Jaffe and Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Flatten. You're watching an NAFC Middleweight Championship bout. This came from NAFC Armageddon, featuring Jeff Behnke fighting out of the blue corner, representing Metz's Combat Club in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and fighting out of the red corner, Bobby Bernicky from Waukesha MMA.
Yeah, Scott, interesting fight here. Behnke was actually coming into this fight the reigning NAFC light heavyweight champion as well, after he won that fight over Jordan Zoofser, but he took that fight kind of on short notice and wasn't able to cut to his normal weight of 185, so he took it at 205. Now he's in here with a chance to win 2 straps against Waukesha MMA fighter Bernicky, and that's a pretty big deal. That's pretty exciting for a guy to come in and try to hold 2 belts in one organization.
Indeed, Paul. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today, brought to you by Wisconsin Army National Guard and powered by Concede, sponsored by Showtime Sports Bar and Tiffin Mats.
Yeah, Bernicky fighting out of Waukesha MMA with Reese Shader and, you know, Jared Bronis, who is the NAFC heavyweight champ as well. And you got Behnke here, who fights out of Metz's Combat Club. Great shots there, by the way, out of the back. You know, and he really tries to personify a guy that came from that gym, Sam Elvey, and a guy that he talks about later on. Just someone, you know, tough. He's a very tough kid. You know, his some of his stuff isn't the most technical, but he's a person with a tough chin, and he's able to get takedowns and really work some grounded pounds. So he's a tough fighter that really kind of personifies that gym.
Again, Metz's Combat Club, Jeff Behnke, and Waukesha MMA's Bobby Bernicky fighting for the NAFC middleweight title here on NAFC Armageddon. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today.
Yeah, it was a good job by Behnke taking the back, even though he wasn't able to stay up there as Bernicky turned into him. But you see Behnke here now working, slowly pushing those legs higher and higher. You know, as Bernicky does a good job getting his arms in between, so not to allow a triangle. And Behnke does a good job also just holding the hands. It looked like there almost was an inverted headbutt or something. They both kind of stopped for a short notice, but nothing was stopped by the referee. So good action from the bottom. And now Bernicky definitely going with that shoulder, with the elbow, or the, you know, looking to hit him with his shoulder.
Again, first round action for the NAFC Middleweight strap against Metz's Combat Club. Jeff Behnke out of the blue corner and Bobby Bernicky fighting out of the red corner representing Waukesha MMA.
Yeah, and now you see Behnke working the legs up closer and closer, going for that submission. You got to tighten that, grab your front leg and look to just pull it around the windpipe, around the neck, and go for that choke. Bernicky's in trouble here. This choke looks like it's in deeper and deeper.
And many times the more a fighter struggles, the deeper that choke gets locked in.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, Bernicky struggled early on, and these guys haven't been fighting for too long yet, so there's not a lot of sweat. And that choke looks like it's in really deep as Bernicky goes to ground. That's it.
And the end comes at 2 minutes, 42 seconds of the first round. That is Jeff Behnke picking up the NAFC Middleweight title over Bobby Bernicky. You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. Scott Jaffe here along with my co-host, Wisconsin Combat Sports, Paul Flatton. This next bout comes from November 2011. It was filmed at Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Paul, tell the viewers what they're going to see.
Yeah, we look in the amateur flyweight division as Elias, Garcia, and Chris Winkler battle off. It's a great fight. Enjoy.
On Wisconsin MMA Today. All right, fight fans, you're watching a special flyweight matchup. This comes to you from November 2011's NAFC Unleashed from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Again, this flyweight matchup under 125 pounds features fighting out of the blue corner, Chris Winkler from Fujin Martial Arts in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and fighting out of the red corner, Elias Garcia representing Milwaukee's Roufusport MMA Academy.
Yeah, Scott, I love these little looks back in times. 2011, watching this fight, Elias Garcia came into Wisconsin for a little bit out of California and really took over the amateur scene for a year. Had a great record, and this was one of his stronger fights. You know, the cousin of Anthony and Sergio Pettis, a guy that that really looked promising. And it's fun to watch this fight against a proven opponent in Chris Winkler here.
Yeah, he pulled up his stakes from where he's from, California, and moved to Wisconsin to train at Roufusport. He will taking on Chris Winkler from Oshkosh, representing Fujin Martial Arts. First round flyweight action.
Yeah, here's something Elias has run into before. He always looks for the takedown, but on times he will put his head in positions that could get caught. So as he gets the takedown, Winkler immediately goes for the guillotine. You know, he doesn't really look to have it, but he is able to take some time off the clock almost, and you know, put him in a submission that could fool some judges that maybe if they're not up to par yet, but Elias keeps working hard and eventually he's going to try to get himself out of this choke.
And you're watching Wisconsin MMA Today, brought to you in partnership with Wisconsin Army National Guard and powered by Concede, sponsored by Showtime Sports Bar and Tiffin Metz. First round flyweight action from NAFC Unleashed from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Scott Jaffe here along with Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Flatton.
You see, right where Elias was there, he was able to listen to his coach's advice right there the entire time. It's a great thing about being in your corner right there with Duke, just being able to talk, not shout. You know, he can tell him things as Fujin martial art, and the other side, they might not be able to even hear what Duke's saying, so they really can't combat that, you know, his strategies. So as you saw, he was able to turn his body, you know, totally negate the effectiveness of this guillotine, where now it's just like almost a headlock. And it was a good job of just maneuvering his way into the final, eventually going to be able to pull his head out of this.
Again, you can watch all Wisconsin MMA Today episodes on YouTube at WIMMA Today TV and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at WIMMA Today.
And now we're going to see Winkler just kept holding that choke even when there was no hope of it, and that tires him out, and it really puts him in a bad position as Eli's able to jump to his feet and really start raining down some strikes. And that's what can happen. Oh, great job shoving that foot out of the way and putting down a right hand, and then immediately jumping back into position and really looking to put himself right where he needs to be to take this fight. Wonderful job getting in the mount. Oh, right, what an awesome job taking his back and putting that choke on. What a job.
And the end does come at 2:29 of the first round by rear naked choke. That is Roufusport's Elias Garcia getting the win over Fujin Martial Arts' Chris Winkler. Again, this was NAFC Unleashed from Milwaukee's Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Special feature here on Wisconsin MMA Today, as referee Al Wickers puts a bit of finality to this
Ladies
first
and
round
gentlemen,
stoppage.
the end of this bout comes at 2 minutes 29 seconds of round number one for your winner by rear naked choke, Elias Garcia.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch the fights with the fighters.
I'm lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis, along with MMA trainer Duke Rufus. And come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highway 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Rufus and Pettis Showtime Sports Bar, where you watch all MMA action on two 15-foot mega screens.
I'm MMA coach Duke Rufus, along with lightweight world champion Anthony Showtime Pettis. Come fight time, we want to see you at Showtime, Highland 100, 1 block north of Silver Spring.
Visit us at tiffinmats.com.
You're watching Wisconsin MMA Today. I'm Scott Jaffe, along with my co-host, Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Flatton. Paul, why don't you tell the viewers what we have coming up next?
Oh, the action's going to be fast and furious tonight as Quentin Mikulski and Alex Cooney battle in the flyweight division. Enjoy.
On Wisconsin MMA Today. All right, Scott Jaffe here along with Wisconsin Combat Sports Paul Flatton on Wisconsin MMA Today. This here was a welterweight matchup featured on NAFC Armageddon at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Fighting out of the blue corner, Jimmy Cummings from Highland Fight Systems in Sheboygan, and out of the red corner, Roufusport's Christian Vasquez from Milwaukee.
Yeah, this was a good fight that night. You see Vasquez land the early left hand, you know, set the tone, and then able to get an early takedown. Really put Cummings in a bad position early on, and Cummings was in trouble right from the start here.
Christian Vasquez fighting on the same card his brother Kevin Vasquez fought on.
Yeah, a night full of brothers. It was really exciting to see that, and Christian, definitely pulled his own weight on this card, as you see right here. Definitely in position. Looked maybe like he was going to look for an arm, but really doesn't go. Just gets himself in position where he's going to be able to land strikes from here.
Again, a welterweight matchup featuring Jimmy Cummings out of Sheboygan and Christian Vasquez out of Milwaukee. Cummings in the blue corner. See if I can take on his wrist. Vasquez on top here and Cummings red corner.
Yeah, it was a great job getting the full mount, and Cummings just has no defense here. Vasquez unleashing, and it's just a matter of time before the ref's going to step in on this one.
And the end comes at 1 minute into the first round. Roufusport, Christian Vasquez besting Jimmy Cummings out of Highland Fight Systems at 1 minute, round one. US strikes. There's your winner. About to be announced.
Wisconsin MMA Today reporter Paul Flatten here with Christian Vasquez. Debuts don't get much more impressive than that, huh, man?
Oh, man, I'm so excited right now. I don't know how to get down from this adrenaline right now. It's awesome. It's awesome.
A big win. You put yourself in a name with a lot of great people at your gym. How have some of those guys helped train you for this moment?
Well, I feel like I train with the best amateurs in Wisconsin, maybe all around. Like, they train me hard all the time. Even my wrestling background sometimes doesn't help me because they are so that good. And they push me to be better me.
What's next for you, man? When do you want to fight again?
Oh, whenever, as soon as possible. I am unhurt. Let's do this right now. I'm on a high.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Hey, this is UFC fighter Chico Cummings, and I'm going to show the jumping hook or the rooster punch, we call it. Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating the jump hook or the rooster punch. So what I want to do is I want to get my opponent to get his hands up and kind of ball up so I can aggressively come at him and punch around his guard. So I'm going to throw a 1-2 just to get his hands up. Once he has his hands up, I need a little bit of distance, so I kind of want him to back up. So as he's backing up, I'm going to bring the left hook around his hands and the right hand right up the middle. Again, I'm going to throw the 1-2, kind of get him to back up. I'm going to kind of be aggressive on that 1-2. While he's backing up and shelling up, I'm going to come around his guard and I'm going to throw the right hand right down the middle. And that's called the jump hook / rooster punch.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Wisconsin MMA Today. We really enjoyed taking a tour and learning more about Kenosha's Gracie Barra. Tune in next week for Wisconsin MMA Today. I'm Scott Jaffe, signing off with my partner, Paul Flatten. Take care, everybody.